This is the Office Manager Diaries, a podcast all about the highs and the lows of professionals in office management around the world. We'll delve into their career journeys and diaries, where they'll share their stories, tips for success, and only things office managers understand. Enjoy, and please remember to give us a follow. Hello everybody, welcome back to our next episode of the Office Manager Diaries. My name is Hannah Gray, your host, and I am with our next guest who is Ben Howard, the Office Manager at 3BM. Hi Ben, how are you doing?
Hi, Hannah. I'm very good, thank you. Very exhausted at the moment, obviously leading to Christmas and a lot of stuff going on at home. I'm in the diet of having a house renovation during Christmas. So not the best ideas in the lead up to Christmas, but it's something that had to be done, unfortunately.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I would imagine though, and we'll talk about projects later on, I suspect, but I would imagine when I have done renovations in the past, my project and office management role has actually helped me manage them slightly more effectively than perhaps if I didn't have that experience. So hopefully that's on your side and helping.
Yeah, I'm quite organised anyway, so I'm kind of like, I like to stay to the book when I'm at home, like, oh, it needs to be done this way, it needs to be done that way, why hasn't it been done? Whereas my fiance is a bit like, yeah, we'll just do it like that, and I'm very much counterproductive to her, so we're a bit like yin and yang when it comes to house renovating.
Oh, well, you can tell us more about that in a bit as I say, we talk about projects. But thank you so much for joining us. Can we start by finding out how you first got into office management? How did you find your way into it, Ben?
So my career path started very differently. So I didn't go straight into an office-based environment. My first job was a lifeguard. So that was obviously when I was at school, I had to get a bit of money, and it was something my sister did. And my mum said, you need to get a job effectively while you're still at school. So I kind of led into lifeguarding, which then led me into more hospitality then I went into a hotel. I didn't enjoy the hotel hours too much. So then my sister, who worked as an admin role somewhere, was able to get me a job in admin. And then my admin role went further into pensions. So then I was able to get quite a few office management type skills through being in pensions, whether it be diary management or doing certain projects. So then I was able to really get into office management when Vectura came calling along for me, and I was able to really get my foot in the door there by learning previous skills. And then they gave me a chance where I didn't have much office experience, but they were happy to take a chance on me. And I've been able to grow from there into now being at 3BM.
What was the company called? Sorry, where you said where you were before?
Vectura, they're a pharmaceutical company, they were.
Okay, yeah. And so you went in there, like a lower kind of admin level role, and then you got promoted to office management?
No, it was kind of an office admin / office manager role. So it was a mix of the two. So my official role was office administrator executive, which then turned into an office manager. So I was basically doing office manager duties, but my role wasn't specifically called that until a few months down the line, where then I would identify as an office manager.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because that happens an awful lot and I often get asked it by people within the network and everything else who say, what exactly is the best title, the job title for this role? And I just think, they vary so much from company to company. Like we've had it where we've seen chief happiness officer and things for people that manage culture, and it's just like, that's a crazy job title. Why don't you just be culture manager or whatever? But office administrator and office manager to me are probably doing very similar roles, unless there's two of you in there and one is more junior to the other and manager's more strategic and administrator's more kind of hands-on. But yeah, it sounds like a really nice way into it. And there was another guest, I think it might have been Megan actually, who was a lifeguard before she got into office management and travelled with that, I believe. So you're not the first office manager to start out as a lifeguard.
I didn't save anyone, unfortunately. The closest I came to saving someone was a dog. A dog ran into our library bit and we took it to the vet.
So not even the water.
So no, the pool was very shallow. It's like a library, cafe, and swimming pool. So the deep end, you could stand up in the deep end. So I was never in any danger of saving someone. So yeah, I would say a pretty lazy, not a lazy lifeguard, but a lifeguard who basically didn't get wet at all.
But most don't, right? I got a membership to a gym club around here, and there's a pool there, and yeah, they very rarely, well, I don't think I've ever seen any of them had to dive into the pool, which is a good thing. You have to have them just in case, as with all health and safety. But yeah, I suppose it was probably a bit boring for you. Tell me more about your role now then, please, Ben. What does a typical day or week even involve for you?
I think my weeks very, very differently. So one week I could be doing something, and then the next week it could be totally something different. So I think with all office managers, we kind of get the title of we're a jack of all trades. We do anything and everything effectively. So one of my weeks is I could be doing a lot of the marketing stuff. So I'm part of the marketing team at 3BM. So that could be planning for the week ahead, having marketing meetings, drawing up conference materials for any events that we go to, doing social media posts, to then going into doing frameworks and bids through tenders to try and win work. Then it could be going into the office, managing the office, getting bits and bobs from people such as contracts, signatures. Then it could be dealing with the landlord, could be dealing with issues in the office. Then it could be me getting documentation to go for insurances. So it's very, very varied. I could literally write down so many things I could do in a week, and it would be over 3 pages long effectively. So I think that's why I enjoy the role so much, because it is very varied. Whereas I think in my old roles I get very bored very quickly. Whereas because of the magnitude of variety here, it keeps me always busy, and that's very similar to at home. I hate not doing anything. I'll always get told off. Oh, why do you always have to do something? It's like I can't help it. I need to keep busy. My mind needs to be active and challenged.
I think that is why, and I actually did one recently, a YouTube video on why most office managers enjoy this job or do this job, I think it was called. And it was literally that. It's just that no 2 days are ever the same. And that's why we love it. We love the diversity. We love the breadth of responsibility and duties. We love kind of jumping in to save things sometimes, even if it's not, a swimming pool scenario and saving a human's life. It might be jumping in to save the day because someone needed a meeting room at short notice and we had to reorganize something else and then get the catering and, whatever else. But those kind of things enable the staff to get on and do their job, and that gives us that satisfaction. So it sounds like it's the same for you. And this marketing side of your role sounds quite interesting. So you actually get involved in tendering or putting bids out there for clients by the sounds of it.
Yeah, so I've been quite fortunate, really, because we used to have an apprentice marketing person, and he decided to leave and join St. John's Ambulance to do their social media. So the idea was then presented to me by my bosses saying, oh, how would you like to be involved in the marketing, help create the marketing, social posts, and whatnot? Because I'm quite a creative person anyway, because I feel like if I focus too much on admin, I then kind of lose some of my flexibility of what I like to do and what I enjoy. So I love my role, but with the marketing, it splits it up a hell of a lot busy. Instead of looking at documents all day where I could get not very challenged, I can then drop into the marketing side and challenge myself with creating social posts or graphics or helping out with frameworks and bids. And it varies up my role a lot more compared to doing admin-based tasks.
Yeah, I really like that. And you probably feel like you're making much more of an impact to the business as well than what we do so much behind the scenes of. So yeah, very interesting. You've worked in a few different sectors within your career now. So where would you say you feel most at home? What kind of sector or what roles and responsibilities? Where is home for you now with your career?
I think where I am now is home for me. I've been there over 3 years now, and this role has provided me with a lot of happiness. So again, on a personal level and at work level, because I used to live in Croydon before I worked at 3BM. So during the lockdown, I was able to come down to Herne Bay where my fiance lives. So I was able to really enjoy being in Herne Bay and feel like, oh, this is a place I could potentially live down. However, because I'm in London 5 days a week, I don't have really that opportunity. So then I obviously went to 3BM, and they were obviously able to provide me with a hybrid working role, which suited me down to a T. So I was able to enjoy working from home and then going in the office and not stretching myself to 5 days. So they've really been able to provide anything I want on a personal level, which has made me enjoy my role so much. So they've been there to support me, and that's all I've ever wanted in a role, is a workplace to support me and my progression. And that's what 3BM have done for me, and the people at my work as well, fantastic as well. I couldn't even name you a bad thing about my workplace. They've made it feel like a home to me, and it's not like I wake up every day and dread work. That's something that shouldn't be on anyone's mindset. I wake up every morning and want to work because I enjoy the people I work with and I enjoy my role, and they give me everything I want from it.
I love that. What sector do 3BM sit in? What do they do exactly?
What 3BM does is we're architecture and planning. So that's our main responsibilities. We have sister company called Fusion, and they focus on the project management side of things. But at 3BM, it's mainly architecture and planning. Then we have Fusion project management, and then we have RSK, who have just brought us out recently. So they obviously help us, and they're very hot on sustainability and wanting to help organisations such as ourselves with sustainability, health and safety, and managing our environmental issues as well. So they've been a great help. I mean, we've only been brought out of them since last month, but again, the people I've met there, the onboarding has been fantastic with them, and I've been able to meet a few people there, and they've been really helpful. So it's something I think all of us at the practice and myself are going to be looking forward to going forward, working with them and us support them supporting us.
It's one of those things, isn't it, when you have buyouts or mergers or takeovers, whatever it might be, it is a worrying time for lots of people about jobs and culture and documentation and workload and everything else. But yeah, it's really nice when it goes well and it succeeds. So what is culture like there at 3BM, and how do you believe you influence that within your role?
I think as an office manager, I think we have to be kind of the hub of culture really at our offices, whether that be we're there all the time or we're adopting things in the office, such as putting up Christmas decorations or whatnot. So I think the culture at my practice is very, I would say, it's very positive, and everyone always wants to be there. So we do a poll. So we have a WhatsApp group for everyone who is at our practice. So we have 28 people at our practice, including myself. So we do a WhatsApp poll every week and gauge how many people are going to come in. So we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The minimum people are required to be in is 2 days a week, and then people can plan their week ahead of that. So I try to be in on the day where most people are, so I can interact with as much people as possible or get things from them. And then that's how we kind of base the environment on this, how many people are going to be there, and we have to cater towards the architect's needs. So adopting workstations where they can do their drawings, having a hot desk where we can have conversations about projects, having meeting rooms where someone can dip off and have a meeting and not be disturbed, bringing positivity to the office, whether that be having a games night after work or going for drinks or even going to different events during the day or site visits. I think what everyone likes to do there is people like to get involved, they want to participate in stuff. And I think that's one of the key strengths of our office is people want to get involved. Whereas when I joined our marketing meeting, it was only me and my bosses. However, we then obviously put that opportunity out to the architects as well. So the part ones and part twos who would like to be involved in marketing. So we now have like a marketing team where architects are helping with the marketing. So it isn't just on me. So it's a really can do, get stuck involved, and whatever presents itself in the office, the architects would love to get involved. So it'd be like, oh, if people want to be involved in graphic design or help with social media posts, they can. Or in the conferences, if they want to help with framework bids, they can. There isn't an opportunity where you can't do it. They always promote. If you want to do it, we have a conversation about it, and we will be more than happy to put you forward to it. So I think the office is it's the best environment I've been in because everyone is so friendly and everyone works as a team. It doesn't feel like there's one person bigger than the whole team, even from a director level. The directors are very level-headed and will always support you.
Yeah, it sounds so important, and it does make such a difference to how people feel about their jobs and their role and the future and their progression, right, as well. So I really like hearing that. So you mentioned Christmas decorations there. What is on for you for the rest of the year now with the festive season just around the corner? How does your office celebrate? Is it busy? Does it slow down? Give us a flavour for what it's like.
So usually at Christmas it is not the busiest. Our busiest months tend to be from Monday to April time, and then the summer tends to be quite quiet because in our architecture business, our main sector is the education sector. So we work on a lot of schools and educational projects. So usually summer it can be the quietest because that's when obviously the kids are on half term and whatnot. But this December is quite busy because we've got quite a lot of projects which obviously meeting deadlines, and then there's still quite a few frameworks and bids which need to be submitted before certain dates and whatnot. So it's work for us this December has been very busy for us, and especially with being brought out as well with the onboarding. So it's been very much non-stop for the past few months for us. But in terms of events, we've got our Christmas party on this Friday. So 3BM and Fusion will have their whole company party on the Friday. So that's just a pub and some canapes and drinks. And then we will have our own studio on next Thursday. So we'll go for a meal and we'll play White Elephant, if you've heard of White Elephant.
I haven't. Please tell me what this is.
So it's very similar to Secret Santa. So obviously Secret Santa, you pick someone and then obviously you give them a present. Where a white elephant, you just buy a present and you wrap it up, and then however many people do it, you put all the presents in the middle and you pick out a number from 1 to 20. So if you pick number 1, you get to pick the first present out of the pile in the middle, and then obviously it goes on for number 2. But if you like that person's present, you can steal their present. So it's very, yeah.
Really?
So yeah, it could be quite interesting. If someone gets a good present, everyone will want to steal it. So last year we had like a massage gun which someone bought, and it must have got stolen about five or six times.
And how do they steal it? Do they just have to be crafty, or do they literally say, I want it?
Yeah, so basically, if I was number 1 and I got the massage gun, and then number 2, the person who picked up a present didn't like their present, so if they picked up their present and didn't like it, they go, I want to steal yours, effectively.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you basically want to be the highest number, that you want to be the last person effectively to get the best present.
Right. Not the first pick,
No.
because you're going to get your present stolen if it's any good. I like this. Right, there you go, office manager listeners. There's another idea instead of your Secret Santas. White elephant. Good.
I blame the Kardashians for that, unfortunately.
Oh, is it? Is that where it came from?
Someone at our work recommended White Elephant, and they saw it on the Kardashians, and then we kind of adopted it.
Well, I don't watch it, but I'm sure there's some good things that have to come from them, right? There are many good things, but I'm sure. So, Ben, what have been your biggest success stories so far in your career? And perhaps as well, what have been your hurdles?
I think the biggest success story for me at the moment is being at the place I work. I count that as a success for me because of how happy I am here. If I wasn't happy, I wouldn't be at the place I work, and I wouldn't call it success. So again, when I have my mid-year reviews and performance reviews, everyone highlights how amazing I've done, which is always good to hear, because I think as an office manager, you kind of always tend to put people first before yourself. You always make sure everyone else is fine before yourself. So I think that's one of the biggest successes I've had, is making sure everyone else is okay before myself. And then obviously if people are all right, then I'm happy with that as well. So being at this stage of my career, being able to obviously buy my first house last year, being able to do hybrid working, being able to get progression from my company, that's been a huge success for me. In terms of hurdles, I would say probably early on in my career, because when you're 18 or 19 and you come out of school, you don't really know what you want to do with your life. You jump from job to job to see what you like, and you try different things. So I didn't want to be a lifeguard the rest of my life. Then I went into hotels. I thought I would enjoy that, but the hours were very long. I could get to work for 3 o'clock in the afternoon and finish 11 at night, and wouldn't get home to 12. So that took a strain on you, because while your friends are obviously going out and at uni, you tend to miss out a lot of the stuff with the hours and whatnot. And then obviously I was able to get into office admin then, and then I was able to enjoy different aspects of office admin. And then obviously when an office management role came calling about, there's obviously elements of it which I enjoyed, and especially the people part. So that's kind of what attracted me. So yeah, the biggest hurdles were, I would say, in my early career, with not knowing what to do. Whereas now it's night and day compared to where I was early in my career to now.
I think that's so normal though, isn't it? Like I remember coming out of sixth form. So what are you then, like 17, 18? And my then friend Jodie and I were sort of chatting about what we were going to do. And I remember wanting to be an air hostess at one point and being really keen on that. You used to have like career counselling or coaching, whatever, at school, and it's all nonsense really, isn't it? And they were talking about height, because height, I'm going back am I going back like almost 25 years now, I guess. But yeah, height was a thing then on airlines, and I was just about tall enough or whatever, I can't remember, but they talked to me about it, and then I was like, I don't know, I'd rather be a pilot than an air hostess, to be honest, but I'm never going to get money to be able to train and learn how to fly, although I have flown planes now since. And so then it was like, go to college and do a legal secretarial diploma, which is what I did end up doing, or go travelling around the world, which I didn't ever get the chance to do. And you just don't know. And like you say, I kind of fell into office management a little bit, and then beyond a point it became really intentional for me. But that is the thing, like you just know you love this job. I think you either love it or hate it. If it's not for you, you will know very, very quickly that it's not for you. But there is that point where you're expected at 16 to 18 to 21 years old to have it all figured out and know what you're doing with your life and where you want to be. And you have to play with it. It's like dating, right? Job hunting and having different careers in different fields for different companies is like dating. It's got to click for everybody. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And it can take a while to figure out where that click is. So,
Yeah, at my school where I was, it was very heavy. You have to go university. There wasn't any advice on, oh, you can do this job after school, whatnot. They were very heavy. You have to apply for university. And that's where I think I struggled with coming out of school, where but as soon as I've left school, I was doing my lifeguard job where I was at school. So there wasn't any guidance when I was at school on where you could go from. It was mainly heavy orientated. If you go into uni, that's great. You're going to succeed and whatnot. If you don't go to uni, then it wasn't a matter of urgency compared to the people going to university.
I agree. It's broken, isn't it? I never wanted to go to university. It was not for me. I was done to a degree with education and the pressure of exams and everything else. So obviously, I still went to college, and it was a year, sort of meant to be a 2-year course, but I did it in a year, and there were still elements of exams and things within that, but it really wasn't as pressured as uni would have been. It just wasn't for me. I wanted to get out there. I wanted to get into the real world. I wanted to earn money. I didn't want to rack up debt. And I think it's a really valid point that, like, we see job specs sometimes for office manager roles and it says must be degree educated. And I think, what the actual F, quite frankly. You don't need a degree. You need a shit ton of common sense. You need high organisational skills. You need proactiveness. You need initiative, intuitiveness. You need to be a forward thinker. There's so many different things. You need to be self-motivated as well to do it. But I just think you don't need a bloody degree. Why are people asking for degrees? It doesn't mean that much in these roles. And it drives me absolutely potty, because some people like you and I just aren't cut out for uni. It's just not for us. Because you didn't go, right?
No, I didn't go uni. I mean, I found it hard because I couldn't focus on a subject where I could dedicate 3 or 5 years of my life to, because I have mates who went to university who done a course they studied for, and they're not even doing what they want to do with their university course. And it's a bit like, do I really want to spend 3 to 5 years going to uni to study for something that I may potentially not ever do after university?
I fully agree. And that was where I struggled as well. I think there is like a business administration or something degree now, which may or may not have been around at the time. I really don't know. I don't think I even really looked at it much at all. But I remember my school being quite pushy, especially because I did do well in my grades. I got some A's and B's, mostly A's and B's and some C's. I did fail. I failed at A level, actually. I think I failed French. But yeah, like at GCSEs I did well, and then A levels did some bits and bobs well, not so well. But they did push it, you're right. And that pressure at that age, especially when you look at these courses and you're like, but that's not what I want to do. And yeah, why would you want to get into 30 grand of debt or more?
Yeah.
If it doesn't even serve a purpose for you to actually utilize that skill. My view is it's far better if you don't need the degree, because I appreciate some professions really do. Like, you wouldn't want a surgeon operating on you without a degree, right? And having been trained through a uni. That's fair enough. But I just think experience, like, you cannot teach experience. You can't teach, and ever more so in office management environments and roles. So, well, that was a nice little rant for us. Stop putting pressure on students to go to uni if you're listening to this, teachers.
I'm not saying uni. It's just because architects, they have to go through uni, and I know the struggles they go through, because it's a very long time to become an architect as well. So I think if you're dead set on doing something that you want to get a career out of, then university is very much like someone who wants to do that. Whereas for me, it wasn't for me compared to other people.
Yeah, no, same. Like, it has value. It has a purpose. It serves a purpose, and people, like I say, some people need it. But yeah, there is that weird pressure still, and kind of status quo of, oh, you haven't got a degree, and it's like, no, I didn't want one. Look at me, like, still look at me. You're happy, like you say, you've just bought a house. You know, I'm healthy and happy, and I've got a nice, good career and everything else. I'm where I want to be. So yeah, you don't need it necessarily. This episode's tip is going to be all about ESG, so environmental, social and governance tips. And I'm going to focus on the E for this one, and the environmental piece. So Environmental is very much about sustainability, how much we offset in terms of carbon emissions, but also raising awareness within our businesses to ensure that people, in as much as they can, are being sustainable while they operate in the course of business. And that might be the most basic thing, from ensuring that they separate their waste appropriately and they use the designated bins, which I know so many people are probably rolling their eyes going, oh, they never do it. Oh my God, and they never wash their plastic out and they just throw it in. And I have been there and I've seen it. But think about changing that signage maybe every 3 to 6 months so that it becomes more visible, because we're all creatures of habit and we tend to forget and ignore things after a while because they're just always there. So be a little bit of a PR campaigner here and think about what you can change without doing too much extra work yourself so that it becomes noticeable again and visible again. One thing that I saw recently, and I actually had the thought of, funnily enough, before it came up, was this kind of clothing drive where basically, if you think about being back at school where you had car boot sales or tabletop sales, I think they were called, where you would bring in your old toot essentially and you would sell it or exchange it or whatever. How about doing something like that at work, where you almost have like a swap it day where people can bring in their old clothes, shoes, bags, electronic equipment if they can prove that it's safe or something. It depends on how far you want to go with it, and make sure that, again, there's a really good lead into this in terms of marketing and PR campaign around it to get as many people to take part as possible. And yeah, get them to bring it in, swap it, or pay low cost for it so the money goes to charity or whatever else it might be, and will suit your business and how many people and the appetite around that. But clothing, as we know, is one of the most unsustainable parts of humankind, and the stats, if you've ever looked into it, are quite astounding in terms of what it contributes towards carbon emissions and how much goes in the ground every year from clothes that are brand new that have never been sold to clothes that we throw away because we no longer want them in our homes and have a space for them. So it's a really lovely thing to do, and one of these initiatives around kind of Earth Month that you could potentially implement. Another quick thing that I just want to share before I finish for this week's tip is around the bathroom. So considering cloth towels or hand dryers instead of paper towels. Old style toilets can use up to 7 gallons per flush. So putting a sand-filled bottle in the tanks, unbelievably, will displace an equivalent amount of water using less when the tank fills. Making sure that taps are turned off completely, ensuring that they don't drip, and also making sure that any leaky taps are or toilets that kind of run are fixed as soon as possible. And here's a fun fact that I'll leave you with. A tap leaking at a rate of only 1 drop per second can waste more than 5.5 gallons of water a day. That's over 2,080 gallons of water a year just from one leaking tap at 1 drop per second. So think about that and make sure that you've got those wonderful handymen and women in to fix them and stay on top of your leaky taps. And that's it for this episode's tip. I'll see you soon. Right, now it's time for an extract from your office manager diary, please, Ben, with your you won't believe it but moment.
Not office management wise, but I used to work in a hotel called the Corinthia Hotel. So it's a 5-star hotel. So I used to meet quite a few celebrities there. So there used to be times where I bumped into Beyonce and Jay-Z one evening working a late shift, or bumped into The Rock. So one of my what the hell moments was when I was first working there, obviously I didn't know what the clientele was or whatnot. So there was a moment where I saw someone famous for the first time, like Anne Hathaway. She said, and I was literally, you're just starstruck. You don't know what to kind of do and whatnot. So then you kind of look be professional, be professional, be professional. So, and then we used to get the interviews you see where you get the journalists interviewing the actors and whatnot. So quite a lot of
the
them
press tours.
So quite a lot of them are done in hotels. So they'll take up the whole floor of the hotel, and you have all the journalists and all the stars in the different rooms as well. So it's kind of interesting to see what would go behind the scenes in terms of them press tours. But I think one of the funniest what the hell moments in my hotel was just a normal guy and I was taking his bags, and he decided to fart in front of me and run away.
Fart?
So yeah, so I couldn't believe it. I had to keep a straight
What?
face. So he said, "Can you look after my bag for me?" He then decided to trump, and then ran away. Went, "Oh, sorry," then ran away. And I was like, "What's just happened here?"
And then you still had his bag.
Yeah, I still had his bag.
What did you do?
So yeah, it wasn't meeting all the different people, celebrities, and all. It was just a normal guest doing that in front of me. He was like, "What the hell just happened here?"
What did you do with that though? Did you like go and just put it in his room, or what
I
did
literally
you
just put it
do?
out the back for him, and then just waited for him to return. And I never saw him again.
I'm not surprised. My son would find that story absolutely hilarious because he's at 5 and he's all about poos and farts and wee and stuff at this age. So he would love that one.
In a very busy area as well, in like the reception area where it's very busy. And I was like, has that just happened?
Did other people hear it then?
I'm not sure, but it was in like our big foyer area. We have like a massive, like a very, very posh hotel with a nice chandelier and whatnot, people collecting bags, and it's just one guy just does that. And you're like, "Oh, I can't be the only one that heard it."
Let one rip. I mean, we've had many toilet talk stories and all that stuff on this podcast, but not quite yet the farts. So, yeah, opening up the floodgates for fart conversations here.
So yeah, very much the one thing I very much, yeah, that's probably one of the strangest interactions I've ever had with someone, which is, yeah.
Yeah, and it sticks with you, doesn't it? Just stays in your mind, just as one of those like like you say, what the hell moments. Well, that is fun. That is fun. Farts are fun, I guess, unless you really don't like them. And we apologise if we've offended you talking about farts. Right, let's talk projects next then. What sort of things have you been issued with over the years in your roles as projects to be part of or to manage? And how have they been tackled? And what were any of your learning outcomes?
So when I was at my previous company, Vectura, we were doing an office move before COVID hit. So that was very in the much I was able to get involved with helping with that. And then when COVID hit, it was kind of difficult to then obviously do the office move when COVID was, because obviously you had to follow regulations and whatnot. So I was quite proud of myself being able to be in the office and help letting in contractors and being there to be able to support transfer people's items and equipment from the previous office to the new office and making sure everything was ready to go when COVID did stop becoming a thing, the office would be ready for people to come in. So that's one thing I was happy to be involved in. And then project wise in my new role, it's quite a lot of things to be fair. So trying to think of loads on top of my head now. So obviously in terms of the bids and whatnot, I'm quite heavily involved with that. So whether it be winning bids or trying to get the information for that, that's quite a personal achievement for me to be able to do that, because a lot of the time we're only quite a small company, to be fair. We only have 28 of us. We don't have maybe the resources other architects have, where they have probably 50 to over 100 people. We're only 28 people. So to be able to be involved in them types of projects, be able to beat the deadlines is a personal mission, really. And along with all the contracts, because architects are probably known for not being the best admin wise. So they're very heavy, draw, design, and they sometimes forget the admin side of things. So again, a project of mine is making sure all contracts are signed and consultancy agreements are signed, and helping with the ISOs as well. So the line manager I have, Sam, who's a godsend. She helps with all our ISO certifications, and without her, we wouldn't have any ISO certifications. We have 45,001, 27,000, 9,000. So I help in getting the ISO stuff for her. So again, that's important to have as an architect practice, because in terms of sustainability and health and safety wise, to make sure that we are certificated and whatnot. So that's a huge achievement, which I'm proud to be part of with the team in getting ISO accreditations.
As you should be, because I teach about ISOs, just very, very high level on the advanced course that we have for office managers. And there is so much involved in it. And especially when it's the health and safety one, or even the quality management one, data security, etc., or information security, I think it's called. Like, you're always going to be, especially in a company of your size, you're going to be dragged into it to help produce that result and to get the accreditation or certification or whatever it might be. So you should be proud, because they're not easy to achieve. They put you through multiple different hurdles and challenges and policies and documents and whatever to get there.
Yeah, I don't think people realise how much there goes into ISO and whatnot. And again, we wouldn't have any of it without our line managers, Sam or Sarah, or even Shane as well, who who helped with us as well. So yeah, without them helping, we wouldn't have them. And then I'm glad to be part of that project where I can help them with the information to be able to get that.
Absolutely. And what about the move? So what have you learned from doing office moves, or what perhaps do you enjoy about doing them?
I think what I learned from it is I feel like I can do one again. So obviously, if my office, not saying it's going to happen, but if our office ever decided to move, I feel like I would be prepared and know what to do. Whereas when I was helping with the previous one, I had no clue what to do. I'd never done an office move before. It was all very new to me. So I was able to learn and kind of get insight into what goes on with an office move. So again, it helped me prepare for, if I do move office with this company, then I will know what to do because I've kind of helped do one beforehand. So yeah, it's kind of life lesson really. I mean, there's probably a good chance that we will. I mean, we've grown so much within the last few years. I mean, before COVID, there was like about 15 people, and now we have 28 people strong in our office. There's a good 40 to 50 infusions. So we are growing, and there's going to be a point where our office is going to be too small because our office at the moment is perfect for us. It holds about 20 to 25 people. But if we keep growing the way we do, then there's no reason why we couldn't go to a new fancy office. And I think I would be very prepared for that if that day ever comes.
Yeah, I love that. So, Ben, what do you enjoy the most about office management and why?
I think what I enjoy most, is the people and the variety. I think the people make your role. So I enjoy doing what I do. And I think obviously, like I said, office managers, we get the name of we're jack of all trades, but we're master of none of them, supposedly. But I think we're masters of our own role effectively. We make the role what it is. Every office manager will have a different role. If I spoke to another office manager, I'm sure their duties and responsibilities are very different to what I do and whatnot. And I think that's probably one of the best things about being an office manager is you could talk to another office manager and what they do would be completely different to what you do. And I think that's an art in itself with the role. Whereas if you spoke to a finance manager, you know what they do. Whereas with an office manager, you don't know what they're going to do. And I think that's why this podcast series is probably so good, because you get to delve into what other office managers do, because it's going to be so different to what we all do. And as a community, you can all learn from each other from that.
Yeah, exactly. And there'll be elements of the role that will pretty much be the same in every person's role. But then, like you, I doubt many office managers are doing marketing, and I doubt many are getting involved in bids and everything else. But then there's some we've spoken to who are doing HR or have got global roles, which means that they're not actually on the ground so much. They're doing much more line management and strategy. And yeah, they vary so much. So
I do HR as well. I forgot to add that one in. I do the onboarding and help with HR.
Yeah. Again, in the size of your business, it doesn't surprise me at all, because those roles are often folded into one where you don't need that dedicated resource. So where do you see yourself in the future then? What's up next for you, if anything?
What's up next is I want to get my kitchen done before Christmas, which is looking likely now. I'm getting married next year. So again, that's another thing, which is obviously now taking a life of its own with work, then doing a house renovation, getting married. So, but where I see myself work-wise is I still see myself at 3BM because of the role and how it makes me happy and the progression that they're offering. I mean, I could go to them tomorrow and say, I want to do a marketing apprenticeship. I want to get involved with AI. I want to do this. And they would listen to me and support me in that. So as long as 3BM keeps supporting me and making me happy, I will always see my future with them, because I think if you're not happy in your role or work, what's the point of being there? Because we work most of our life, so it's important to be in a role that you enjoy and you enjoy doing. So as long as 3BM keeps making me happy, I will always be loyal to them, and along with them supporting me and wanting to progress.
Yeah, it is so important, and that longevity is as well, because if you found your home and there's continual opportunities or responsibilities that can be added, then yeah, you're going to fly, and you're going to feel like you're achieving still, which is what we need, or most people need. Some people are quite happy doing the same thing day in, day out, and not being too challenged, etc., because they might have other things going on in their life. But most office managers like the challenges, like the change, and like the aspiration potential with these roles. So okay, lastly then, what top tips would you share with fellow office managers and those listening to this pod?
One top tip I'll probably say is having a office environment and culture is probably the one most important things you can probably hope for. I mean, luckily enough, I'm in a studio where everyone is lovely and everyone's pulling in the same way. So I think that's part of the onboarding process as well. We try and get people who are new to obviously go dive into what we're trying to do at 3BM. And we do, obviously, when we interview someone, we base it on their personality. Do you know what? You may not have the most experience, but if you gel with the team and able to progress with us, then we are going to take a risk with you and a chance with you. And I think that's paid dividends for us. When I went for my office manager role here, I had no architecture experience and they wanted someone who had a bit of architecture experience. But luckily they took a chance on me and they've hopefully been able to see the benefits of that with me being here. So yeah, my top tip would be keep your people happy at your office and you'll be happy, and then you have the happiest time being an office manager, along with being challenged as well, because there's things that may come up tomorrow that I've never done, which I may be asked to do. And I think that's one of the best things of being an office manager as well, was not knowing the unknown effectively. So yeah, you could be asked something tomorrow and you'll challenge yourself to do it.
Yeah. You never know what's coming around that corner, right? Be it a leak or be it a project, it's coming.
Might not come tomorrow, but it's effectively coming for you.
Yeah, at some point. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the Office Manager Diaries. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed getting to connect with you and learning a bit more about you, Ben.
No, it's been fun. I was pushed. I originally was very hesitant because like, should I go for it? Then obviously my boss is like, do it. So I've followed with what they threw and hopefully it's come across well. And I've obviously highlighted 3BM and myself in a good light with people wanting to get into office management or know more about 3BM.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you, boss, for pushing you to doing it. Push your boundaries, people. It's another tip. And we'll see you next time. This episode is sponsored by the Office Management Portal, our free online membership platform aimed at connecting, supporting and empowering office managers in a simple-to-use, all-in-one self-service resource. You can sign up right now at www.theofficemanagementportal.com and click the sign up button in the top right. If you want to upgrade your account to our premium membership at any time for unlimited downloadable templates and monthly expert masterclasses, use the code THEOMD for 25% off. That's THEOMD for Office Manager Diaries for 25% off. Thank you for listening.